Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Unlimited Characters podcast, hosted by yours truly, your boy, Entertainment. Let's go. Let's get it. Hope everybody's having a good week this week. Still got some good weather up here in Chicago. Things are getting a little wild with the Democratic National Convention, DNC, whatever you want to call it. So everybody in Chicago, stay safe, stay vigilant. Nothing new when you grow up here, but man, I'm excited to do another episode here. I'm always like, I'm going to do two, I'm going to do three, but one thing after another, sometimes it's hard. But we're back here. Had an episode last week. If you haven't checked that out, go ahead and do so. If you haven't hit the like button, do that, comment, hit subscribe, help me grow the channel. Let's get it. Let's get these videos in front of more people. I'm only going to get better, y'all. I promise, or at least I'm going to try to. But yeah, man, let's get into it a little bit right now. So, gonna be not even talking about sports today. So I still got my MLB All-Star Game hat. We got the Michael Jordan. We got the Bulls back here. We got the Bears. We got the fucking Cubs over here. But gonna talk about some other stuff today, just some trendy news, different things like that, but fun stuff. We're not gonna get into anything sad or anything crazy right now. Use this as a distraction, learn something new, have some fun. But let's get into it, man. I don't know for those of you that like history or that pay attention, especially to like Twitter, but there was a new discovery last week for Stonehenge. It's in the United Kingdom or the UK. But for those of you guys that don't know it, let me pull up a picture real quick. So this is what Stonehenge is. If you haven't Googled it, go ahead, Google it. You'll be able to see a little bit more about Stonehenge and what it is. But pretty interesting, man. Stonehenge has been around, obviously, for thousands of years. It's in the UK. But the new discovery is that there's an altar stone, which is like in the middle of Stonehenge. So in the middle of that picture I showed, that was brought from Scotland. So basically in the past, people thought that this was maybe somewhere from a little bit closer, but this altar stone piece, not from the UK, it's actually from Scotland, which is over 500 miles away. And what I was reading about, they're saying it's probably like 700 miles, like actually traveling with this giant, I think 6-ton stone. So the thing about it, basically this has been around forever. Nobody knows how they made it. And now we find out that a piece of the altar or the altar stone itself actually comes from 500 plus miles away. So a lot of people always speculate already, like who created Stonehenge? And a lot of people don't know that Stonehenge, whatever is like sticking out above the ground, there's actually a lot more underneath the ground that we haven't even uncovered. But basically, this is implying, 4,500 years ago, there was a lot more going on than we thought. It's kind of, I like to pay attention to a lot of history, ancient history, stuff like that. I've read like Graham Hancock's Fingerprints of the Gods, some type of those books, looking back at different history and how things have played out throughout humanity. And, Stonehenge is one of those places that we still, like I said, we don't know who built it. So when you find out that stones that supposedly some like hunter-gatherers put together a couple thousand years ago actually came from 500 miles away, we have absolutely no idea how they would have transported the stone, how it would have got there. And like I was saying too, they said it's about 700 miles when you're kind of going through terrain. So the way to think about that would be, when you walk from, or you drive from point A to point B, wherever you live, you don't just take like a straight line. You got to go around through streets. Obviously back in the day or 4,000 years ago, I don't think they had streets, but you're going over like geographic locations, things like mountains, going through rivers, walking up and down. That adds to the distance that you're actually watching. So if you look, I'm on, what website am I using here? The Independent. Shout out to The Independent, using your article to go through it. But man, let me know what you think. Like, where do you think these stones really come from? Is there a purpose? A lot of people are thinking things like, how old is this actually? How old could it really be? And who really knows the answer to that question? When we use carbon dating and stuff like that, it's using materials like that are organic. So stuff like flowers or maybe insects that have died that are in between materials that we can find. And we date those, but that doesn't mean that you can date like the stone itself. You're just dating the carbon material or life that was on there over a specific period of time. So it's one of those things that once again brings you to start questioning humanity, man. Obviously something was going on back in the day that we don't know about. How else could you travel 500 miles with some 6-ton stone? That literally doesn't make any sense to me, unless there was some sort of technology that we're not aware about. And I'm looking at my phone because I took some notes. But you really don't know. So like I said, 466 miles is what it said, but probably a little bit more. Inner stones are from Wales, which is where the altar stone was thought to be from. So let me pull that picture back up. So you take a look at this thing. There's like 3 or 4 different layers. You got these outer stones on the outside part. Those are from the UK. There's inner stones. So you could see kind of like back here right inside. Those are from Wales, and that's where they thought that altar stone was from. But no, it's actually from Scotland. So a lot farther than people had previously imagined. And there's a ton of different articles. So, man, if you haven't done so already, go on Google, take a look. And here, there's actually a better picture on Vice.com. Shout out to Vice. So you could see, let me move myself. Ooh, too far. So you could see here, these are what those stones look like. Not letting me grab my little picture. But you could see behind us basically what that looked like, the stones that were in the middle, and kind of figuring out exactly like what that origin is. There's a ton of different theories, and I'm looking over here at the computer. It's a 5,000-year-old monument in Wiltshire, England, that supposedly served as a ritual site for a millennia. It measures 16 feet long. The altar stone lies in a recumbent position on the ground, giving it the appearance of an altar, though its original purposes are unknown. So that's another thing, guys. We don't even know if that's an altar stone. We have no idea exactly what Stonehenge really is. There's a ton of different theories that people have out there, whether it's aligned with like the stars, maybe it's trying to tell us something about the past. But, you know, it's just a type of question that I like to look at, that I'm always excited about in finding out what really happened in the past. I don't think the story we're told is probably exactly how things played out. It's a little bit crazy to think that humans can only be around for like thousands of years versus a lot more compared to how old Earth actually is. But man, let's take a look. I'm trying to read a little bit of this article real quick. Some people think it arrived later, so it might have been brought from another part of Wales, maybe that traveled through there. You know, I've even thought about, you hear about a lot of like catastrophes that happen, and people say the big floods happened thousands of years ago. Who knows? Maybe that stone just happened to float somewhere. You don't even know if the people that put the stones there knew where they were from. It might have just been finding whatever is nearest to their location, and trying to go based off of that. But let's see. Stonehenge is already considered an outlier amongst Neolithic structures because its blue stones were imported from Wales, where other rock monuments from this period are built from local stones. So that in itself is a little bit different, that they didn't even use stones from the UK. They brought them in from Wales. So, man, drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you think it was all built at once? These people even know what they were doing? Obviously, according to them, it's like hunters and gatherers supposedly that built Stonehenge. So when you start to find out that different things happen like this, I guess you could see it 2 ways. Maybe they did build it and it's just the results of stones being there from who knows where. But then how did they ever get there in the first place again? So it's just going to, no matter who built it, how did they get the stones there, guys? How? And Stonehenge is almost 5,000 years old. So, you know, there's just pretty much more questions than answers. And I don't think we're ever really going to know the truth. And if anybody does know the truth out there, they're probably not going to tell us. But crazy stuff happening. I'm always happy to see when there's more news dropping on, you know, historical things and things that are happening out there. So keep your eyes open, y'all. We're finding out more about history as we go, and keep an open mind, because you never really know what's going on out there. But there's a ton of videos. Go on Twitter, go on Google, do some reviewing, find out what's happening. Because I don't know what's happening. I'm just trying to let you know that they just found this out. But I'm looking ton of just different stuff on Twitter. Whoever knows what exactly is going on, that's true. But Stonehenge, we're finding out more. There's a video of these idiots that tried vandalizing it. Have no idea what you think that would prove at all. Just destroying things. But shout out to Stonehenge. Still got to get out there. I was in the UK. I think it was last month. Feels like longer ago, but didn't get a chance to go. Wish I did. Definitely on my list of probably somewhere I'm going to have to check out in the future if it's still able to be visited. But we'll never know who built it. Go online. Do some conspiracy theories. Maybe we could do that right now. Let's look it up right now. We got to check it out. Stonehenge. Who built it? Let's see. It's not clear. The site on the Salisbury Plain in England has been used for ceremonial purposes and modified by many different groups at different times. Archaeological evidence suggests that the first modification of the site was made by earlier Mesolithic hunter-gatherers. All right, now we got to get like the real. Let's get the Reddit version. Let's see. You got to look up like the real version. You know, you go on history.com. They're not giving you the juice. According to folklore, Stonehenge was created by Merlin, the wizard of Arthurian legend, who magically transported the massive stones from Ireland where giants had assembled them. So, you know, that's also, you know, you get a ton of stuff in the past about giants, red-haired giants. I have, some people say I have red hair. It turns red a little bit in the summer. It looks a little brown right now, but I'm not a giant by any means. So if all redheads were giants, that would have been dope, but not the case in my scenario. But let's see here. You take a look at kind of what the history suggests. Let's see. Dig site, blah, blah, blah. Like I was talking about, they've done radiocarbon dating on workers' campfires from millennia ago to discover the holes cut into the rocky outcrops to gather stones were made centuries before Stonehenge was built. So pretty much people have been on this island forever. We just have no idea what exactly they were doing. Some people say it's a second-hand monument. There's another theory, of course, that aliens built Stonehenge. Some of the biggest stones weigh 50 tons, but there's no record anywhere of who actually built it, who did it, nothing. So literally there's little concrete evidence on exactly how Stonehenge was built. Some of the biggest stones, like I said, they weigh up to 50 tons. So with no written record on which civilization did it, who came and did it, we still are told that it was hunter and gatherers, but obviously now we're finding out that this altar stone in the middle of the whole monument actually came from over 500 miles away, from Scotland, monuments in England. So who knows how that got there, man. And with all these theories, it just makes it more fun. You see the other theories about the giants build it. Did Merlin the wizard get the giants to build the monuments, and then he magically floated the stones over here? A lot of people think it was even like a concert hall at some point. If you've ever been to Europe, places like Italy or Greece, you see a lot of these types of like coliseums or little concert areas where people would get together. So just a lot of different types of ideas. The last one's probably even that it's an early observatory. So it doesn't really look like it, but the alignment of the stones could have been a way for people to track movements of the sky. So some people suggest that the designer wanted to align the points of the sunrise and sunset during the winter solstice. Obviously, we really have no idea, but there's something happening at Stonehenge, guys. Been going on for thousands of years, but you can imagine, we don't know when it was built. Once it does get built, people come, people go, circle of life. If something was already there, you could imagine people just like repurposing it over and over. But it's going to be a mystery that we never know. Who built it? How did they build it? How did they get all these crazy stones lined up, some that are over 50 tons? And how the heck did they get a stone all the way from Scotland to the UK? But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what's your best theory on who built Stonehenge. How the heck did they get these giant stones all the way across these different countries and places at a time where supposedly they didn't have any technology? So that's another question. Was gravity different? Did they have access to some type of science or technology we don't know about? Who knows? But my theory, if I had to give a theory, I'd probably say that we just had a smarter civilization. Maybe not smarter than us, which that's probably a little bit egotistic, but they probably had some different type of smart. Who knows if they were doing things the same as we are. And when you look back now, you know, we're talking about nobody wrote down who did it. There's no record of who did it. That's kind of happening now. Everything goes into the cloud. Everything's on a computer. Everything's somewhere where you don't see it. A lot of people don't even print out photos or things like that. All of your bills can be in email. Your records of your house will be in email or somewhere digital. So in the future, if all of our stuff's still left here and maybe 100 years from now, we're not writing things down, you could imagine how quickly that history could just disappear. When there's not stuff being written down, not records being kept, an easy disaster could take that all away from us. But exciting stuff, exciting stuff at the Stonehenge. They got some crazy stuff on here. Somebody put it was the focus of an ancient corporate team building exercise. I hope that back in the day they weren't already doing team corporate building. That'd be devastating, you know. I like to think about that potential fake society as like, man, they probably just knew things we didn't know. It would suck if they still had the corporations. But next topic, something that I saw actually a couple months ago. I have it written down. I got a little thing in my phone. It's like, yo, ideas to talk about when you want to do a podcast. This one's I found quite hilarious. Now that I turned 31, guys, in 5 days, so officially hitting that grown man status. But I'm a millennial. Saw this hilarious article about Gen Z, and pretty much a study had came out that found out Gen Z, 25% of them are bringing their parents on job interviews with them. So something I can't even fathom. I can't imagine being like, hey, mom, like, dad, are you guys interested in coming to this job interview? And obviously, keep in mind, I'm sure a lot more interviews are virtual, so they probably didn't have to necessarily go anywhere with them. But I can't imagine my mom, like, imagine her right behind the seat, just doing that little, what is it, from Step Brothers, like answering the questions from behind. But I don't even know what to think of that. It kind of blew my mind. And I was taking a look at the article. It says that 70% of Gen Zers have asked their parents to help them find a job. 16% say their parents submitted the job application for them. And 1 in 10 had their parents actually write their resume. So the 1 in 10 writing their resume, I highly doubt that's changed. We all know helicopter parents. We've been seeing some of those with different friends or people you associate with throughout your life. Even the 16% say their parents submitted job applications for them. I wouldn't even be surprised if that's lower than in the past. I could see some parents in the past like, yo, I'm going to go get you a job, bada boom, bada bing. But now what's crazy is thinking that 70% asked them to help them find a job, especially when you put it from the perspective that Gen Z is supposed to be this whole like, yo, we know how to do everything with technology. We are so smart. We know about everything, how to move, how to finesse everything, and they can't figure out how to get a job. Go on Indeed. Go on LinkedIn, lock in. Obviously, it's harder when you're young, but one thing to keep in mind, Gen Z age range, it's people born from 1997 to 2012. So their current ages would be 12 to 27. Obviously, got to assume that the majority of these kids are probably not 12 and 13 since they're not supposed to work. But I'm hoping a lot of these happen to be the teenagers. You know, maybe they're a little more shy, as a lot of people like to say they're not as social or stuff like that, which I don't necessarily agree with. But as a 27-year-old, I hope you're not asking your parent to go on a job interview with you, because that would just be pretty preposterous, and not something that I think, could be acceptable. But 25% of them to be doing that, I'm wondering, is it just a lack of confidence, a lack of not knowing exactly what to do? Why do they think their parents are going to find them the job that they want? I have no idea. Why do they think a good company is going to want to hire someone that brings their parents with them to an interview? That's another question within itself. And with a lot of stuff these days going that way, where it seems like, people always don't want to go out and take the initiative, it's hilarious and scary to see that this generation younger than us is doing some type of things like this. Like, I can't imagine being on a work call or something and seeing someone's parent. I'd be absolutely confused, especially in a job interview setting. I wouldn't even know what to say or where to go from that. I'd probably have to be like, yo, we're going to reschedule this call and get started after that. And, this article goes into like, how can you help people? How can you do this? And it's kind of hilarious to think that people think this would be a good idea. And you read some of the comments, somebody's like, hey, I've conducted hundreds of interviews, hired several hundred people. Hiring decisions are not always easy. However, I would have had an easy time dismissing anyone who brought their parents. What work product might someone expect to get from a person who can't even think and speak for themselves? So that's the part that's hilarious. Writing your resume, obviously 12 to 27, there could be kids doing their first ever resume. And when you're doing that, I mean, I've been there before. You're like, man, what am I doing? You're either going to copy something you've seen online, ask somebody you know. So at least they're asking their parents. But bringing them to the interview, that's a big thing too. A lot of the workforce, people are waiting to be told what to do, what they got to do next. And for most employers, I'm sure that's not what they're looking for. So when you bring somebody to the interview already off the bat, you're pretty much giving away that, yo, I'm going to need some help. Anytime something comes up, I don't have the confidence to just go out and do it. Go out and try to get that interview. Go out and try to get that job. If you can't even do that, how are you going to go actually do the job? So who knows why anybody would ever think that's a good idea. And then you start looking around more, and I'm trying to see, like, do we take parents? Is anybody doing that? I didn't see anything. So it was a little bit biased, I thought, thinking like, yo, how could they not give us a stats on what about millennials? Was there ever a study done to see back then exactly what happened? And this one kind of goes, there's a little bit more details. So found that 26% of the Gen Z respondents actually involved their parents in the interview process. 31% of those respondents had a parent accompany them in an in-person interview, and 29% had them join a virtual interview. That is crazy, bro. Let's see. The majority of on-camera parents spoke directly to the hiring manager. I don't even know how do you even think of that? It's actually insane. I'm reading the rest of the article. People just kind of saying what you would expect. I don't know how you think this would work. But man, it makes sense. I don't know what it is. I mean, I've talked about it before. Seems like, obviously adolescence, whether it's on purpose or just by the way our society works, it seems like adolescence has got pretty extended for a lot of people. Back in the day, you're 18, 19, you could go get a job right away, probably start making some good money, get a house. That's kind of completely out the window these days, unless you're off the rip, just making probably at least like hundreds of thousands with no debt or anything like that at 18 or 19. And even in that case, they might not even give you a loan. But, it's a lot harder to get things done. And I think the expectations for what you used to have versus now are a lot different. Now, 25-year-old people will be like, hey, man, he's still young. He's figuring it out. World's different place. Back in the day, 25 years old was like being 40. Like people were like, yo, you don't have kids? You don't have a job? You don't have a house? So things are definitely different. You could see it's kind of trickled down generation by generation. People used to like to say millennials didn't know what we're doing. We're only the people living through all the crazy stuff that's ever happened in America the last 30 years since I've been alive. Gen Z obviously has their own types of issues, whether it's confidence or maybe they don't like jobs, and maybe some of these kids just don't want to work. So they're like, yo, dad, you do it for me. You jump in. Or is it just hovering parents thinking like parents that realize how hard things are, trying to help their parents or trying to help their kids? I could see that. But if you're from Gen Z, guys, don't bring your mom or dad to an interview, virtual or in person. Just don't do it, guys. And quick little story, which kind of reminds me. So when I was, I think 16 or 17, that was during the like 2008, 2009 era when the recession was happening and all that. So I used to work at Sears. Sears, for those of you guys that remember, giant store that had a little bit of everything. So I worked at one of the biggest Sears in Chicago, Six Corners. It's not there anymore. It's an apartment building now. But back to the point of the story, I knew somebody that worked there. They were like, yo, we're going to have this hiring event. Feel free to come. I can probably help you get the job. We're looking to bring people on for the season. It was right before like Black Friday. So I was like 16 or 17, my first formal job interview. I actually think I cut school to go, which is a little bit crazy, but whatever, needed the money. So I went to the interview and I was like, yo, like at the time, you're at that age, you hear about recessions, you hear about jobs. I was looking around there like, we're going to do a group interview. I'm 16, 17. I don't even remember what outfit I put together, whatever I did. It was something basic. You're looking around the room. There was like dads, moms, grandmas, uncles, aunts, all these adults in there at this job fair talking about history they had in different companies, all that type of stuff. I remember they asked me questions. I was winging it. I have no idea what they asked me. Then afterwards, I ended up being able to stick around, ended up getting the job. And you look back and I'm like, dude, I can't imagine, first of all, taking my mom or dad. Second of all, just walking in there with the lack of, what to do, what to say. You just got to learn and go, man. If I would have thought like that, like, hey, I've never done an interview. What am I supposed to do? But I just kind of showed up, winged it. It was a crazy time. And I also always felt bad. I'm like, yo, they gave the job to 17-year-old cashier versus these parents that probably really needed it. But I learned a lot from the job, learned a lot from that interview. And that kind of gave me a boost. So go out there, take the risk, go take the interview, go apply for that job. You never know what you're going to get till you try, y'all. And reality is you got to manifest what you need. So Gen Z, stop taking your parents to interviews, virtual, in person. Don't do it. Please. Just don't do it, y'all. Youngins, please. All right. So next topic, man, flowing here already. We're at 24 minutes. Shit. So next thing, probably last thing I'll talk about. Gonna keep. And I don't want to go more than too long, but dude, if you haven't already done so, jump on Netflix. You got to go watch The Man with 1,000 Kids. This dude, Jonathan Meyer, he lives in, where is it here? Let me take a look. Is it the Netherlands, I think? He's Dutch, yes. Let's see. Hold on. So go check it out, man. Man with 1,000 Kids. Bear with me, y'all. Make sure I know where he's from. Netherlands. Booyah. All right. So if you haven't already done so, jump on Netflix, catch The Man with 1,000 Kids. This dude is from the Netherlands. Long story short, basically this dude has been going to every sperm bank, donating privately to people, donating any country he could find, posting on Craigslist, posting everywhere, Facebook you could think of. This dude has been doing his thing, getting donations everywhere. And it's estimated now that he's somewhere in at least over 500 kids that he's fathered. So just stop right there. These are all different families, all different people, and not like he's just like meeting women. So he's basically going out there, matching up with families as a sperm donor. This dude has like blonde hair. He's a white guy. He's in the Netherlands. So some people were talking about in the show, like, hey, you know, when I first saw him, he reminded me of like a Nordic person from the movies and the long hair. So he's basically telling and doing everything he can to these women to get them to choose him, coming off as a really great guy. And eventually he convinces them like, hey, yes, I'll be your sperm donor. Either he comes there, gives it to them. So it was a little bit of everything, man. But he's a Dutch musician. He's a YouTuber, giving a bad rep to the YouTubers out there in the world. But man, go on Netflix, watch this show. It was just absolutely insane what he did. Basically what they're saying is that he's been lying to parents, lying to different corporations or companies, whatever they are, that are sperm donors or sperm banks. There we go. So he supposedly has at least over 500 kids. At sperm banks, they'll ask you like, hey, you're only allowed to donate up to 5 times. So he's been lying pretty much everywhere saying, yep, I only done it 5 times. Yep, this is all that's happened. So it kind of starts off in the show where they're talking to there's a couple that worked with him. I believe it was 2 women that couldn't have kids. So they brought him in. He's able to obviously help them out. They have a kid. They even find out from people around them that there's other people with kids. They start doing like a whole research, putting together like an entire Excel sheet to find out exactly what happened. And basically, you know, they're trying to help the parents out because obviously you can see it's definitely a risk if there's people that aren't related out there that end up getting together romantically or whatever in the future. And I think it was during the show they were talking a little bit about how there's this type of like phenomenon that happens with siblings or like cousins that don't know that they're related. Let's say they end up meeting out in the real world. They'll have like this weird connection where obviously it's because it's like a family thing. But in their head, they're like, yo, this is like romantic. This person understands me. I don't know why. It makes so much sense. So it's super dangerous, guys. This guy should not be going out there. I know Elon Musk is like, yo, we got to repopulate the world. This guy took it a little bit too seriously. But now he's put all these kids at danger. There's like 150 kids within like a certain square radius of each other that are related. And who knows how many more. You can only imagine how many people are probably afraid to really like come out and talk about exactly what happened. So let's see. There's a little examples here. So let's see. I'm trying to take a look. Content. All right. So in 2021, New York Times interviewed a Dutch woman named Vanessa van Ewijk about her experience with Meyer. Before Miss Van Ewijk welcomed the daughter with his sperm, he lied and told her that that was his 8th child. She returned to him a few years later in 2017. He helped her conceive a baby boy under false pretenses. But she received startling news about him connecting with another single mother on Facebook who also used her as a donor. The woman told Ms. Van Ewijk that Meyer had fathered at least 102 children in the Netherlands through numerous fertility clinics. She confronted him. He admitted he at least produced 175 children, so there might be more. He said, I'm just helping women make their biggest wish come true. So man, this dude obviously just kind of feeling himself. Here we go. More than 150 parents of Myers' children connected online and contacted the Donor Kind Foundation for help. So man, dude, just an absolute, I would say, clusterfuck. It says the exact amount of children he has is unknown, but Eve Wiley, a fertility fraud activist, told To Doom, which I don't even know what that is, that he could have 3,000 potential children. So this dude, he's been going to Copenhagen once a month for 4 days for 4 years. That's roughly 200 donations. You can get 15 straws of sperm per ejaculation. If every straw makes a baby, he could be at potentially 3,000 kids. And that's just one sperm bank. And they know that he's gone to at least 11 sperm banks. Dude is going crazy. His wrist got to be freaking exhausted. But like I said, guys, go watch the documentary. I'm not even giving it like enough justice. I'm not even going into detail enough. This dude, they start looking into him. He looks like he's a famous YouTube person. I mean, he has a YouTube channel. He talks about a bunch of random stuff. This lady's like, oh my God, it's so cool. Like, he's traveled. She says he's good looking. He knows music. He's got nice hair. Like, this is like the perfect donor. I can't believe he would want to donate to me. And then they start piecing in like 2020 hindsight history, starting to piece things together. They're like, wait, how is he traveling everywhere? He doesn't even have a job. Wait, what is he doing in all of these countries? Why is he actually going there? So you can imagine, dude, this guy's gone everywhere. He's been on like almost every place you've ever heard of. And he's like on vacation, but he's probably donating. So be careful out there. If you're trying to get any type of donation, make sure you avoid this dude. His name is Jonathan Jacob Meyer. I'm not going to show his face just because who knows, but go ahead and Google him. The Man with 1,000 Kids. It's on Netflix. It's absolutely insane of a story. And what's even crazier is some of these people hear the allegations and like still go back. So obviously I don't even know what that feels like. Who knows some of these people's situations. So I don't really want to judge them, but I'm definitely going to judge this dude. Like, so first of all, just weird that you would even feel cool with having that many kids out there that nobody knows you. And then second of all, like just the willingness to be traveling, just to be like the beat machine, basically, to go around. And he says he doesn't have any like history of any cancers, diabetes or stuff like that. But how do you really know? He's already a liar saying that he won't donate more than he will, when clearly he's already doing so. So this man, the modern day like Genghis Khan, just Genghis Khan did it on a different way. Nothing to be proud of, but Jonathan Meyer going around just going absolutely nuts. So there's other allegations in there too, that supposedly he has like a co-conspirator and that both of them are like donating. They even said at one point that supposedly him and his friend will like mix together both of their sperm in something and then give it to the lady so that they actually don't even know who's actually the dad. Allegedly, they have like a website where that they're actually running. So there's a like fake names, fake profiles, basically like, yo, pick whoever you want that you would want to father your kid or receive a donation from. And then it actually just ends up coming from either this guy, Jacob, or his friend, or Jonathan Jacob. And it's even funny that it ends up coming from him because both are literally and figuratively, he's coming to them and coming for them. So crazy ass story. Go watch it. It's a couple of episodes. Definitely worth it. A quick binge. You're going to just be absolutely shocked at like what's going on. I would never want 500 kids. That sounds like a nightmare. And he thinks he's probably doing something good, but obviously this dude's like mental, probably going crazy. And he shares this. He's talking about crypto. That should have been the first sign that dude is a little bit off the wagon and trying a raw meat diet. This dude is just looks like he's an internet sensation. Who knows? Going off all types of crazy shit. Yeah, here we go. They talk about it. Children who haven't been brought up together are more likely to get attracted to each other because they see familiarities in the face of the sibling. That feeling of romantic love is also known as a phenomenon called the Luke and Leia complex, which is named after the Star Wars characters. So, man, let's see. Just so many nonsense happening here. Damn. So like I was saying, more than 150 parents of Meyer's children connected online and contacted the Donor Kind Foundation for help. The organization, which helps children of sperm donors trace their roots, received more than 30 calls in a single week from mothers concerned that their children had the same father. So, man, this dude is causing problems all over the place. Per Dutch guidelines, a donor can only father 25 children to avoid possible incest and psychological problems. However, going over that number is not considered a criminal offense. So basically, he's not technically, I guess, breaking the law besides probably lying to people. He did lose a civil lawsuit in 2023, and he was banned from the Dutch Society of He was banned from the Dutch Society of Obstetrics and Gynecology. And a Dutch court ordered Meyer to stop donating sperm and subjected him to a €100,000 Euro fine for each future violation. But who knows, like, how are they going to find this? What are they going to do if he's going to other countries? Really have no idea. And they actually tried meeting with him for the documentary, gave him a bunch of chances. And same thing kind of happened throughout the episodes. Like, these women are like, yo, like, I'm trying to talk to you. Let's just figure this out. I want to make sure everything's okay with my son. Why are you doing this? Like, what else have you lied about? And he's just kind of like ghosting them, giving them the runaround. So it doesn't seem like he really cares, which obviously I don't think he would if he's already doing 3,000 beats a week or whatever it was. But Man with 1,000 Kids, crazy ass fucking documentary, whatever you want to call it. So definitely go check it out. Dude looks creepy. I don't even want to click on him. But there's also, you know, his side of the story, trying to say that it's not really telling the truth. So let's see. Meyer told the BBC the documentary is deceptive because it gives prominence to those who are unhappy rather than the many families he says are grateful to him. He sees absolutely nothing wrong with fathering hundreds of children. So yeah, this dude's clearly a little bit off the wagon. Says, I think Netflix did a great job at selecting 5 families out of the 225 families that I've helped, and they will definitely tell you something else. This dude is nuts, man. So he's still trying to pretty much say that what he did, nothing was wrong with it. He's been a donor for 17 years. And that's the thing. He might not think it's a problem that he has all these kids, but obviously he's lying to these women. A lot of them are under the like pretense that he only has 5 or 6 kids, or that, hey, I know that you're only allowed to donate 5 times or whatever. But, you know, he said he basically just doesn't care. He said, as if he thought he has his estimate of 550 was a lot. It is for a normal man, but not for a sperm donor. And they can ship this to multiple countries. So that's what's even crazier is you can go there, donate, and they can distribute it. So who knows who's really tracking the sperm donor, the donor banks. And for the donor banks themselves, obviously they need people to come there. So I don't think they're going to really be tracking it too much. They're not as probably concerned about it either. So, man, stay away, guys. Make sure if you're looking for a sperm donor, you don't pick this dude, Jonathan Meyer. Look him up, y'all. But thanks for checking it out. Thanks for stopping in today for the Unlimited Characters episode of this week with your boy Entertainment. If you haven't already done so, hit the like button, hit the comment button, subscribe. Let me know what you think about what we talked about today. Stonehenge, pretty crazy that the altar stone actually came from over 500 miles away from Scotland. Outer stones are from Britain. Inner stones are from Wales. Can't believe that. We still don't even know who built it. What's going on? Gen Z, why would you bring your parents to interviews? 25% of them are bringing them. And then just last thing we talked about, the man with 1,000 kids. The man that can't stop, I guess, beating off to save his own life. Well, I guess his beating is making him money. It's going to lead to his downfall. But God bless his kids. God bless those families, man. The world is a crazy place. Go watch the documentary. You're going to have your mind blown. After you do, come back, drop the comment. But like I said, like, comment, subscribe, share, do your thing. Deuces.